On August 6, 2025, a tragic event unfolded in Ghana that would forever change the landscape of its political and military leadership. A Ghanaian military helicopter, carrying several high-ranking officials, crashed in the Ashanti region, leading to the untimely deaths of all 8 passengers on board. This devastating incident has rocked the nation to its core as it claimed the lives of ministers, military officers, and key figures dedicated to shaping the country's future. As the nation processes this heart-wrenching loss, the story is not just about tragedy, it is also about resilience, unity, and the steps that followed in the wake of the disaster. The helicopter, a Ghana Air Force Harbin Z-90H, was en route to the town of Obuasi in the Ashanti region. The mission was supposed to be a routine one, aimed at addressing the pressing issue of illegal mining in the region, which has been a persistent problem for Ghana. However, during the flight, the aircraft went off radar, and by the time search teams arrived at the crash site, it was already too late. The wreckage was discovered in a forested area near Adansi Akrafuom, and the scene was one of devastation. The crash not only claimed the lives of the passengers, but also sparked an immediate investigation into the cause of the disaster. The victims of this horrific crash were not just officials, they were key pillars of Ghana's governance. Among the deceased were Defense Minister Edward Omane Boamah, Minister for Environment, Science, Technology, and Innovation, Ibrahim Murtala Mohammed, and several other distinguished individuals who had dedicated their lives to public service. These leaders were instrumental in the ongoing efforts to secure Ghana's future, particularly in defense and environmental protection. Their work was crucial to shaping national policies, and their deaths leave an irreplaceable void in the leadership of the country. Along with the ministers, the crash also claimed the lives of military officers, including the helicopter's crew, who were all integral to the mission. Squadron leader Peter Bafemi Anala, the pilot, flying officer Manayan Twum Ampadu, the co-pilot, and Sergeant Ernest Addo Mensah, a crew member, were among the fallen heroes who gave their lives in service to their country. These individuals were not just soldiers, they were symbols of the resilience and dedication that are required to serve in such high-stakes positions. Their loss is deeply felt within the military ranks and across the broader Ghanaian society. In the immediate aftermath of the crash, the government of Ghana responded swiftly. President John Dramani Mahama, who was deeply affected by the loss of these prominent figures, declared a 3-day national mourning period. This was a symbolic gesture to honor the victims and allow the nation to reflect on the gravity of the situation. Public offices were closed, and flags were flown at half-staff in a show of respect for those who had passed. This period of mourning allowed the people of Ghana to unite in grief, as the entire nation came together to remember the lives lost and reflect on the impact these leaders had on their country.
Staff, ministers of state, and senior government officials, the clerk and members of parliament, the families of our fallen heroes, the Chief of Defense Staff and our security services, fellow mourners. Today is not a day for talking. I just want to say thank you for your sympathy. Indeed, the Quran teaches us that whoever attends the funeral of a fellow and stays till the final prayer receives blessings. And so the blessings of Allah is on all of you. I want to thank the 2 families for their patience. We recognize that in Islam, when a person has died, they are supposed to be interred as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, the state in which the bodies were made it difficult for us to identify positively which was which. And that's why we had to go through the scientific forensic process of identifying. Happily, that process was ended yesterday, and we received electronically the forensic results for our 2 brothers. And that's why we have come to bury ahead. As I speak, the forensic reports for the rest have also arrived. And so in consultation with their families, we would decide how their funerals should be held. But as we said, on the 15th of this month, we'll hold a state funeral for all of them. The families are able to hold separate events to commemorate their loved ones, and the government will be there to assist them. The two brothers, Muniru and Murtala, were both personally close to me. Murtala, I mentored from when he was a new MP at Nanton, and he had been a devout member of our team, one of our very bright intellectuals, very eloquent in Parliament, and he had been a part of our reset agenda. Muniru was like a younger brother. He was a permanent fixture in my house and acted almost like my personal assistant. I sent him on errands. And so this is a very deep personal loss for me. But I know that they were both Muslims and very devout Muslims. And so I believe by Allah's grace that he will receive them in Jannatul Firdaus. I want to thank the imams who said the prayers, because in Islam, once you are dead, the only thing that is useful to you is prayers. And so I want to thank all the imams who came and said prayers for the repose of our brothers' souls and for their admittance into paradise. I want to thank the families too for accepting my decision that they be buried here in the military cemetery. Many of you would have probably had other intentions for their burial, but I do believe that this is a conducive resting place for the two brothers, and the families are free to visit their graves anytime that you want to do so. And so we'll thank all of you for coming. Like I said, today is not a day for talking. I find it very difficult to find words that I should speak. And so I just say thank you. May God grant them paradise, and may the memory of them guide us too. I believe that they would have wanted us to continue the hard work that we were doing with them. And so in memory of them, we shall continue to work very hard to serve the people of Ghana, to ensure the success of our reset agenda, so that their names will be written in gold in paradise. I thank you all very much.
The response from Ghana's security forces and emergency services was immediate. The Ghana Armed Forces and the National Fire Service launched an extensive investigation into the cause of the crash. Within hours of the discovery of the wreckage, teams were working around the clock to retrieve the flight recorder, which would help determine what went wrong during the flight. This investigation is critical, not only to uncover the cause of the tragedy, but also to prevent such incidents from happening in the future. The people of Ghana are eager to know what went wrong, and the results of the investigation will likely shape the future of aviation safety in the country. While the immediate focus has been on the victims and the cause of the crash, this tragedy has raised important questions about the leadership of Ghana and the future of its defense forces. The loss of such influential figures in government and military leadership has left the country at a crossroads. The positions held by the victims will need to be filled, but the question remains, who will step up to take their place? These were not just any officials. They were individuals with years of experience and deep knowledge of the issues facing the country. Replacing them will be no easy task, and the process of transition will likely take time. In addition to the loss of these leaders, the crash has highlighted the risks involved in military and government operations. The Harbin Z-9EH helicopter was one of several aircraft used by the Ghanaian military for various missions, and this incident raises questions about the safety of these vehicles. It also raises broader concerns about the state of Ghana's defense infrastructure and the ongoing challenges faced by the armed forces. How prepared is the country to handle such high-risk missions, and what measures can be put in place to ensure the safety of those who serve in these positions? These are questions that the government and military will need to address in the coming months. In the midst of this national tragedy, Ghana's leadership has shown resilience. The country has faced many challenges throughout its history, and while this loss is significant, the people of Ghana have always found a way to overcome adversity. The mourning period will eventually end, but the work of rebuilding will continue. It is during times like these that the strength of a nation is truly tested, and Ghana's people have shown time and time again that they have the resolve to emerge stronger from difficult situations. In the days following the crash, many leaders from around the world expressed their condolences to the people of Ghana. The United Nations, the African Union, and the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, all issued statements of sympathy, as did several countries, including the United Kingdom, Germany, and Italy. This outpouring of support demonstrates the international community's recognition of the tragedy and their solidarity with the people of Ghana. As the country moves forward from this devastating event, there is much work to be done. The government will need to address the immediate aftermath of the crash, including the investigation, the memorial services for the victims, and the transition of leadership. But beyond the immediate response, the country must also look to the future. The deaths of these leaders will leave a lasting impact, and it will be up to the next generation of Ghanaian leaders to carry the torch and continue the work that has been left unfinished. It is clear that Ghana will not let this tragedy define its future. Instead, it will serve as a reminder of the importance of leadership, resilience, and unity in the face of adversity. The helicopter crash in Ghana on August 6, 2025, was not just a tragedy for the individuals involved, but for an entire nation. It is a reminder of the fragility of life, the risks that those in leadership positions take, and the immense responsibility they bear. As the people of Ghana mourn the loss of their leaders, they are also reminded of the strength that lies in unity, resilience, and the unwavering pursuit of a brighter future. The path forward will be difficult, but Ghana has shown time and time again that it is a nation capable of rising above its challenges.